All right. Well, in case you haven't been paying attention, it is April 7th, 2013, and hey, we're back. It's Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games.
Yeah.
I think you'd be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard.
Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty. I can hear you groaning inwardly every time Sin's mentioned. You're just cringing.
Hoy hoy all! Welcome to episode 373 of Mods on Air, bringing you the week in gaming news as modders, developers, and gamers ourselves. I am foyleman, and also on the show today we have with us Welshy. Hello, Welshy. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. And we have with us Ham. Hello, Ham.
Hello.
Hey, Breezy's with us also. Hello, Breesy.
Hello, I'm also having an ad.
An ad. An ad. Okay.
Yeah,
and also
having
with
an
us is Stryder. Hello, Stryder.
Konnichiwa.
Keital, what's up with this foreign language thing day?
I
Is
don't
that a
know.
special national, worldwide
I think
kind
so.
of thing?
It is
Oh,
Foreign
okay.
Language Day. It's National Flip Someone Off in a Foreign Language
Ah, see.
Yeah.
Day.
Enlightenment.
Okay. Well, before that happens, let me remind you all that the show was recorded before a live audience, of which you may be a part. Anyone can listen in and message about the topics as we discuss them. And for the topics that are discussed, someone will post a relevant URL into the chat window. For the other links, watch out. If you click on them, you may be killed, or someone in your family may be harmed. Finally, for
You
those of
click
you
on
who
links
haven't...
that we don't post, you're supporting terrorism.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you haven't heard the show before, we may make things up, and there may be some explicit language or adult themes. Do not hold us responsible for those of you who follow our actions.
Yeah.
Because that makes you as stupid as
I
us.
mean, if we jumped off a bridge, seriously, would you?
If it was all you were going to talk about afterwards, yeah.
All right, everybody. So welcome. Yes, it's been a busy few weeks. If you don't know, we had Easter last week.
What?
And then the week before that, we had... I had GDC. I don't know about anybody else. So I was over in...
That's where all the eggs came from.
in the chilly San Fran area, which, by the way, I found a flaw in the whole NOS energy drink system that they have. What they do is they stand out there in hot
Is the
outfits
system-
giving out drinks to everybody. But San Fran also happens to have a lot of street bums. So giving out free cans of NOS energy drink to street bums is a very bad idea, because later in the day you will see them walking in the middle of the road with NOS cans in their hand yelling about killing people.
That's like how bum fights got started.
I
The
should
whole
have filmed...
internet
Yeah. I should have filmed it on my camera just so that you could... just as a great advertisement for NOS.
NOS. Bum fights.
Supporting bum fights everywhere, yes. That's, of course, I don't blame the chicks out there for not saying, no, you can't have one. Just give it out to everybody. If they ask for more, give it to them.
Here's some NOS. Go away. Go away. Wasn't that at PAX that they were saying that the people that wanted pictures with the NOS girls and all that, and all the booth babes before they banned the booth babes the second year we went, but they were saying, like, if you're going to come up to us, please don't stink. Please,
Yes.
please have some personal hygiene. And yeah, you get these.
It's a good point. You know what? Take a
Homeless.
shower if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff. Every day. Not just
Eh?
before
Yeah,
you
I
go.
was gonna say, you shouldn't have
Why
to.
take a shower?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be a special occasion. Oh, I'm going to meet some booth babes. I better have a shower. No, you should be showering anyway.
It
Yes.
offends everyone, including us. Give a damn, man. Okay.
I mean, really, you're in San Francisco. You're right by the water.
Yeah. All right, so for those of you who don't know what GDC is, Game Developers Conference, it is a conference to meet industry personnel. It is not necessarily a conference for you to learn all about the new games that are on their way, coming out, and stuff like that. So
Networking, isn't it?
Yeah,
More
it is
than
networking.
it-
Right, I'm not going to go there, and I'm not going to necessarily see brand new games on the hinge of market. Where would you find that? You would have found that at GDC East, okay, in Boston, which happened the weekend or the days previous to GDC, which I don't know if there was very many announcements. I didn't see a lot of stuff going on. And the next one that's coming up, I believe, is E3, which I will be attending. And I can report back to you on that one as far as new games and new stuff.
Did you get a chance to go check out the new and improved cutting-edge Activision game engine that will be utilized for the next Call of Duty title that was unveiled at GDC?
It was actually unveiled, was it? Because I didn't hear it. Yeah, I heard people talking about it and how everything was pre-rendered, and so, no, I didn't look.
Oh, nothing really different than what they do now.
At least that's what I heard.
A lot of cutting-edge developments in reality.
No. No, I think the biggest item of note, again, was the Oculus.
Still?
Yeah.
They're still talking about that thing that...
It was one of those things where there was like a several-hour line, and those people that couldn't wait online got tickets to show up wait online later in the day.
Oh.
Yeah, one of those deals. But I will say that as soon as we got back the next day, there was a developer version of the Oculus was at the door. Hey!
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I got to unveil that, and just like this picture here shows, it looks exactly like that. Except, no, not exactly like that. It actually has a strap to... I was going to grab these photos off my phone, except I knew that if I tried, I was going to end up with a whole mess of iTunes and nonsense going on. So maybe you can see that. That's the box. Let's see if I go that way. There's the box. It came in this nice plastic box. Open up the box, and you see there's the Oculus with what is actually right above the Oculus.
It's like a live-action shaky cam.
Okay, so right above the Oculus, no, I'm not going to do that, make you sick. Right above the Oculus is basically, it is a video card kind of thing. It is a monitor. It's like the back of a monitor. So you right out of the back of your video card, you plug this in, so it's like a monitor, and using a DVI or HDMI input. You also have to plug in a USB cord. Required, otherwise it will not work, and you have to also plug it into a power. So expect it to take up quite a few ports. Yeah, in case that was something you weren't prepared for.
That's how they're going to make it so that you're not walking off a cliff's edge or your upper floor balcony. You're going to be tethered to 3 different electrical devices.
It just means there's going to be a lot of broken stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's sockets ripped out the wall.
There's the device that you plug it into, and on there I can see the HDMI, the USB, the power, and the DVI port, all of which are required for working. There's a very difficult picture to see, and I can't zoom it in. Great. Which shows that, just like the picture above in the corner, right over there, it shows that strap that's going off to the side, but there's also a strap that goes above on top to hold it on top of your head so it just doesn't flop. Now, this thing is very light. It is still very light. There was no duct tape on it, so you barely notice it was there. But this is a very important picture that I'm showing you here, which I guess you can't really tell what it is. Great. All right, so basically, the inside, you have this thing that goes over your eyes. The inside is not just a flat screen or 2 screens. It is something that looks like welder's goggles. There's a problem with this call. Okay, bye, Welshy. It looks like welder's goggles, these glass things that protrude about a half an inch from the screen. So the moment I put this thing on my face, my eyeballs were touching these glass magnifiers.
Reticles.
Sure, why not? I don't know what they are. They're disease carriers, as far as I understand, so that everybody who uses it can transfer their pink eye.
They're miniature magnifying glasses, and they're going to be interchangeable with your prescription, so that
3 sets.
You can change them. Yeah, but they're going to make it so you can change them to your actual prescription, so you can actually enjoy the Oculus with your actual prescription.
There's one of them.
They magnify it to immerse you into the projected image that is just in front of it, so that it kind of blends everything into one giant immersion of. They don't touch your eyeballs; they touch your eyelashes.
No, it did. It was touching my eyeball. It was. I
Then
swear.
your eyeball is protruding a half-inch from your...
That's how far these things were sticking out. Now, do you see this? I don't know if you can see in the picture right here, this little dial. That is actually one on each side, allows you to turn that dial, and it makes the lens stick out further from your face so that the lenses aren't on your eyeballs. But it also makes it, pulls it away, which means you have to make sure you have everything adjusted just right. Now, there are supposedly 2 games that should be available right out of the gate right now that work with the Oculus.
Doom BFG.
It's a lie. It's a lie. Yeah, Doom BFG. There is the, what was that first game? Hawken, right? Hawken was supposed to be working with it because they show it off. No. You know what? You can download and install Hawken, and I can't figure out how to get that thing working. I think they're going to wait until the actual release of the device before they allow that to happen. But the other game that is available for it is Team Fortress 2. And that does work. Basically, you have to open up Steam and set up a special launch command, -VR, for virtual reality, which then makes it recognize only the Oculus as your monitor. So you boot it up, you end up seeing double screens, all right, and then you end up seeing only half a screen while it loads up into the game, and then it's back to this. Now, I hope there are going to be some improvements because the text, you have to make sure you turn up your anti-aliasing up as high as possible, and then only then, if you squint with the Oculus on, can you see the text, because the text is so pixelated you can't really read it. And the further outside of the viewport that you look, the harder it is to actually see the text in any kind of clarity. You can only see it in the middle, and as you know, if you've played Team Fortress 2, all the text on the menu when you're launching is on the outside of this menu system. Yeah. Wonderful. Great idea. So you can launch it. Now, there's also some console commands, so make sure you have the console available that you can open up and run something that allows you to adjust the borders. So think of looking through a pair of binoculars, okay, and you see the 2 circles of each lens of the binocular. Now, what if you could, which in this case you can, open up those circles so that the viewport is wider and fills your peripheral.
Field of vision.
Yeah, the field of vision, exactly. And that's what you have to do manually, which I thought was very strange. Why would I have to do that manually? Why wasn't that already set to something that made sense? But, all right, whatever the reason is, I don't know. I'm not the great Oculus developer here. So I set that up, and then finally I get that going, and I got the game, and I was like, okay, got to get a game to work, and I couldn't find any games to join. I don't know why. Thank you, Steam. So I finally figured out how to launch a local version where I can test the game, and about 2.5 seconds into it, I had to rip it off my head before I threw up real quick. Perhaps it was because I was going through all the setup of everything, and that was making me nauseous. But then I calmed down, and an hour later, I was able to put it back on my head and try again, and I was less sick. And it was pretty cool. You know what made me sick is the fact that I'm trying to use the WASD keys to move. I'm trying to use the mouse to look around, and every single motion of the head also is tracked, which I think is very cool. It was tracked perfectly. Turn left and right, and what I never realized before is if you tilt your head, the screen also tilts. I didn't realize that part as well. You can look down, you can look up, you can see everything. You can watch rockets whiz by, which is very cool. You can see that everything is around you, but still TF2 is going to have that same problem that we ran into when we ran the tests, that everywhere you look is where you go. And I think that is part of the nauseating issue. Now, I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to play with it in another way where, you can use the WASD keys to move and then look around as you're moving in those directions, which kind of makes more sense to me. And then use the mouse to change your direction, so that really what the Oculus, I think, should be is a mouse look, where you're moving in a single direction. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It's the only place I can see it where it's not going to make me want to throw up is literally that, like you're in a flight simulator, or so you have separate controls for the plane, but it gives you the ability to move your head independently. So you can look up and down.
Yeah.
You imagine being in the cockpit, and you can look above you, you can look to your side, which you can pretty much do in flight simulators now. But just
Also,
don't get mouse anymore.
You're gonna need one of those for Arma.
It would work
well in Arma.
Yeah, because you can in Arma you can move your head independently of your body at any time. So you could be running across the field, and you can look to your left, to your right.
Now, those visual issues that I was talking about, the pixelated issues, I think it's the fault currently of Team Fortress 2, not necessarily the device. Now, as we know, the device is low-resolution screens, lower resolution than what your monitor is going to be, but I still think we should be able to get a clear picture, and I think the fault probably lies in Team Fortress 2. But it is possible that it is not Team Fortress 2, because Team Fortress 2 you can change the resolution and it just does not show up in the screen. You end up having to reboot the game. And maybe it's because the device can't handle the resolution, or maybe it's the Team Fortress 2 that can't provide the resolution. I don't know. But technically what it is two separate screens. It basically takes your monitor, runs a line right down the middle and says left eye, right eye, and goes from there.
Doesn't it? I think both screens combined, it has a resolution of what I think like 1280 by 800 or something sort of weird like that.
Possibly, yeah, that sounds about right.
So it's not super crisp to begin with, but it's good enough.
Maybe next week I'll do the show in 3D. I'll wear the Oculus.
Yes.
Tune in. Tune in next week where you'll hear Foyle say.
I was going to say it'll be that, and basically a guy talking to the like this. Yeah. So this week we'll be waiting because you won't be like you're facing the wrong way.
Yep. And I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to put a headset on with a microphone while wearing the Oculus, but that'll be another day.
Yeah. So I think the first generation of successful Rift games are going to be all sort of the ones where you stay in a seat within the game, like a Flight Simulator or Hawken or something like that, until people sort of figure it out, so to speak.
Well, there will be Unreal plugins so that you can use it with the UDK development kit, Unreal development kit. There are already plugins to work with Unity. If you're developing in Unity, you can port that over as well. I'm not sure what else there is available right off the top of my head here. But it does mean that you can start developing your own games with this if you wanted to, or porting your own games.
Watch for Dr. Nano.
Yeah, right.
Dr. Nano version.
All right, so that's what's
excited.
going. I'm less than as excited than I should be. I am not that excited. It's like a great idea, but it's not ready. Like the 3D TV, I think. 3D TV. Everybody's so excited about it. Everyone ran out and got it, and then I don't know.
And content.
I'm going to wait for the X-Men Cyclops game. That's bound to come. It's bound to come out.
Yeah, it's once you build experiences around the Rift, rather than attaching it onto an already made experience, I think you'll have some great things.
As far as I know, Obi-Wan, there are no 3D movie players available. So
the resolution's not going to be right for it.
Oh yeah, that too.
And the refresh rate would burn your eyeballs out that close, I think, too.
This is it. This is where Activision can sell you cinematics. $20 of Call of Duty cinematics, but you're there.
Right.
You're there within the game. You can look around now.
That's the game anyway, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's what DLC stands for. Download cinematics.
My prediction here is that 1 in 4 people will love it. Everyone else, and 1 in 4 will not care, and 2 in 4 will throw up.
And
that is based on my studies so far.
We've already come up with some extra peripherals that you can utilize with the Oculus that we're going to start Kickstarters for. The first one is going to be a barf bag, a feed style barf bag that will attach around the Oculus and mount here, so that you can continue to play while you retch uncontrollably.
Yeah, we'll make sure there's a mic in there so you can talk in between.
Yeah.
And someone's already beaten us to the others.
I agree with that statement.
All right, so I've already mentioned that yes, the next Unreal Engine will have Oculus Rift type capabilities. Whether it's a good idea or not, I don't know, but it's going to. They also mentioned something. They mentioned this while also showing off some demos for the new Unreal Engine. One was for the PS4, which was all pre-rendered stuff, and they had some other sort of demo that was available for PC. Were they both named the same thing? We have the Infiltrator real-time thing. That was shown off at GDC, I think. I don't remember that being shown off at PAX East.
PAX East.
But you know, these are all pre-rendered, which means that somebody took the time and rendered them ahead of time before playing them. And they say that this can play in real time, but I don't think anyone was playing them in real time. Because if they could, they should have jumped out to control the camera and said, "Hey, look around." That would have been more impressive.
Now, here's the thing. I watched this video again and again, and if I'm to take them at their word, this is capable of being rendered in real time. Even if this video wasn't sort of performed live, but if it's capable of rendering on a 680, a GTX 680, and getting this level of quality, I'm very impressed. I had to watch this quite a few times to sort of nitpick and look at a few things to make sure that this wasn't a fully pre-rendered movie, because it looks quite impressive. Quite impressive.
He's that close and he can't tell.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. Reminds me of Splinter Cell a little bit.
I mean, it looks so good. Like, and if anybody who hasn't seen this video yet in its entirety, I'd recommend you go to YouTube or something and check out the 1080p video. If someone did not tell you up front that this was done in real time, you would think this was a pre-rendered movie that you would get like before the game actually starts. It looks that good. You cannot tell that it's not pre-rendered.
See, I'm always very doubtful when developers say that, though. A good example was that Killzone game a couple of years ago. It was like, this is gameplay, and then a couple of years, about a year later, they released the game and went, oh, that? No, that was just pre-rendered.
That's a cutscene that you get to see in the game.
It generally was. They claimed for a long time that it was actual gameplay. Somebody was playing this while they, record, and it turned out not to be at all.
Right.
So I have a very hard time believing people when they say that.
That was an example of something that I was very impressed with. I'm like, oh my goodness, the line between pre-rendered.
Yeah, so was I. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it turned out that's not what you got in the actual end of it all. And my hope is that this is it. This is the future of games, where I can't tell if I'm watching a film in terms of visual quality, or it's a game.
As well as the game is immersive and catching enough that you want to play it. I mean, the game that could be beautiful, but be horrible.
Yeah, of course.
It could, be a 2-button game. Or 1 button, right? We were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. 1 button game series.
Yeah. And the video I'm playing here is the PS4.
That should be the very first game that your studio makes for the Oculus.
Should? Which?
Nod to win. Yes.
Nod.
Achievement unlocked. Yeah.
If you wish to continue, please not.
Literally, this finally happened. I downloaded the game on Steam a few days ago. I started it up, and as soon as I got to the main menu, an achievement popped up. I forgot what it said exactly, but before I could press start or do anything like that, main menu achievement pops up.
You did it. You started the game.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You actually managed to start.
Bravo! Bravo!
New high score.
Is it the waste
New high score. 1. Don't expect that record to stand long.
All right, well, speaking of those 1-button things, got another one for you here, which that's the Oculus. This is the controller for a game called Divekick. There's 2 buttons, one for diving and one for kicking.
Seems simple enough.
This is a real game. It is not a joke. This is absolutely serious. Shown off at PAX East. Yeah. Listen to these guys. Right in the beginning, they tell you a little bit about it.
Hi, my name is Adam Hart. I'm also known as Keats. I'm a designer producer at Iron Galaxy Studios, and we're here today to show you a little ditty called Divekick. This is, I guess people are describing it as late night joke turned into serious business.
See?
It's a game about diving and kicking. It's a 2-button fighting game. And when I say 2 buttons, I mean 2 buttons. No joystick at all, no traditional ground movement. You're going to have to find a way to outsmart your opponent with an extremely limited set of options. Which, as it turns out, so last time you guys saw the game, we were at EVO, and we were showing off our prototype build of the game that we had showed at UFG.
That gives you the idea, and you can watch this now. But yeah, so diving and kicking.
That is absolutely awful.
So ridiculous.
Oh, he beat him with the kick.
Or was that a dive?
I don't know.
Oh, he kicked him right in the dive.
Oh, he's got a power up.
Now he can dive and kick at the same time.
I wonder if that's also their names, dive and kick. Just let's make it simple. No other words are necessary, but dive and kick. How do I play? Well, you dive and you kick. 2 words.
Which one are you?
Round dive.
Red kick and brown dive.
I really hope a bunch of talented people didn't waste a large amount of time making this.
What could be worse is the amount of money people spend on it.
Uh-huh.
This should be in a bar. I feel like this could be a bar game.
Wait, diving, kicking, not losing.
It could be in a dive bar.
A dive bar.
Is that a
horrible?
Mr. N, as in Gabe N? You think?
It has to be.
So yeah, I think that's supposed to be Gabe Newell. I wonder if this is developed on one of his engines.
Oh, with a cape.
The fact that I wasn't going to have to sacrifice any of the flavor and the personality of the game, but I could just make it cleaner and prettier.
Tip from Uncle Sensei. There is somebody behind you.
It was a no-brainer. Working with Iron Galaxy Studios has been an absolute pleasure. It's just wonderful.
Okay, so there you go.
What? Headshot?
Right now we're seeing Mr. N.
I don't know. Enough. Dive kick. You can get the peripheral in the game. I don't know when it's available in stores or anything like that, and no, I didn't get to play test it.
You better not be sold.
And there's lots of there's lots of pictures of this.
I'm really going to start losing respect for you if you're sold on that.
All right, so moving on in this topic, lots of hardware. I guess we can talk about OUYA. OUYA will be hitting stores June 4th. This is April, May, June. Okay, 2 months. In 2 months, it'll be $99 available. That is, if it isn't sold out, because I know that places like GameStop are taking pre-orders, so they're picking up it. Amazon, Best Buy, or other places you can buy it.
Well, the first reviews are in, and they don't look to be extremely positive.
Really?
Yeah, TheVerge.com give it a review, and I'm not sure what other sites, but they gave it, I think, like a 3.5 out of 10.
Based on what? I wish I read that.
They said that the controller design was a little awkward.
How can wait? All right, stop there. How can it be awkward? It is a controller with joysticks and buttons, just like all the other controllers.
Well, the thumbsticks aren't concave.
Okay.
The top of them, which a PlayStation controller is the same way, which I kind of don't like PlayStation controllers, but still. So that's fine. He gave some negative remarks because it doesn't say ABXY. Instead it says OUYA, which I think is kind of stupid, so discounting that.
Oh, yeah, God, don't give console players any more buttons. Jesus Christ.
PlayStation uses shapes, so...
Yeah, PlayStation uses... Yeah, exactly. So it's like, that doesn't matter. The controller design... If you're looking at the controller in the picture right now, you've got sort of that gray strip on the side where the buttons are, and it kind of sort of intersects the joystick. That actually comes off, and that's where you put one battery in, and then on the opposite side of the controller, you take that off and you put another battery in the opposite side.
Wait. You're talking about the controller, not the box, right?
Yeah, the controller itself. So that gray
weird.
sort of
Not like
panel,
gray,
it's a panel.
yeah.
Yeah, it comes off, and you stick a battery in, and you do it for both sides.
The developer
It's just kinda
version
weird.
came with a single battery compartment.
Yeah, and these
Very
are the review units. They said that the menu was kind of bad, like the way it's organized and how you couldn't sort of sort by anything. So if you wanted to get to a new game that you just added, you'd have to go through all your old games first to get to that new one.
You see, I got the developer version, and there are no games to go through, so I couldn't test that.
And I believe the last thing it said was this, that there were a lot of games, as we suspected, there were a lot of games that were phone ports, and they didn't scale very well because they weren't developed for the OUYA. Instead, they were just like a quick port. And to be fair, I believe that everything that was criticized in the review are things that could be changed. The OUYA controller and box itself, the specifications are given so somebody can create an alternative controller and sell it. Somebody can create an alternative casing for the OUYA and sell it. And in the menu design can be altered through software updates. They could even, I imagine, they could even have a something similar to how the PlayStation has, where you can sort of get different skins for the main menu and choose the one that works best for you, and have a little marketplace for that. So, and of course, the games, as long as people treat it as a console first, like develop the games with the controller in mind, instead of just let me just quickly dump a PC port or have some sort of crappy my first game type thing, I think everything that was criticized can be resolved, and there's still time to as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just that those numbers, though, they kind of stick in people's minds when they see a 3.5. You know?
Well, I think the team who's working on this project, the whole OUYA project, they know it. I think so. I noticed that at GDC, I was in a conversation with some other developers, and we mentioned something about OUYA and, possibility of putting games out on it. And it just so happened that one of the big developers from OUYA was sitting next to us and was like, "Oh yeah, we definitely want some games. Come on, talk to us." So it's like they know that they need some more stuff. It's not just that they're throwing out this whole question saying, "Please send us your ports." No, they want games developed for OUYA. But you know what? They can only ask. They are hardware developers and not necessarily software developers. And everything that you've talked about, except for that battery issue, is software. Menus, games, and that kind of stuff.
The controller can be redesigned. I think it comes down to it, and I think the Verge article sort of mentioned it. It's just that even though I skimmed through the article, I didn't read it fully. There was a section that said basically it needs its own Halo, because you're gonna have all these games that are sort of, you can get other places. You can get it on your iPhone, or you can get it somewhere else. So there comes this question: what's the point? Because I can get these same games someplace else. I can probably get it for more convenience, maybe with hardware I already have. And so, in that respect, it just needs exclusives. It needs some exclusives to make use of the hardware and really show people why this is something to have.
I think they're coming, those exclusives. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think people are developing for this because they know it's a new technology, that people are interested, and if they do make the one, that one is going to make them money, and it's going to make OUYA money, and both of them will end up working together to make everyone money.
Yeah. I see it. If they get some quality exclusives, I think it can be a hit.
Right. It might not be at launch. It might take a year or two.
Yeah.
And if they can hold out that long, then it'll work. But on the other hand, it could end up making everyone bankrupt if that never happens.
Yep.
It is a risk.
It's a risk.
But for $100, you know what? You're right. $100 for a phone port of the games does not sound wonderful. But $100 for a platform that you can develop for, and possibly make that game that makes everything a success, that might be worth it to you. Because $100 is just like it's an Apple developer license, or it is, I don't remember what it costs to put out on Google. Does it cost anything? I think it costs something to sign up
or Android.
Yeah, Chrome Store. I don't know if it costs anything.
I don't think it does.
So just keep those things in mind when, as a developer, as a person who wants to put out their own game.
It's worth mentioning too that although you do want the OUYA hardware, you don't necessarily even need the hardware to develop games for it.
No, you should. I have found through practice that just assuming that this thing is built for Android, that it's going to work on all Android phones. No, that is not the case.
Yeah.
That is never the case.
Yeah.
Android is very fragmented, and what works for one does not necessarily work for the other. And there is a special set of APIs or something that goes along with OUYA to make sure that it does work on OUYA. You should have one. You should test it out, and you should keep in mind that not everybody's TV is the same size, width and height included.
Very important.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I think it still could be exciting. All right. More exciting than this ridiculous thing called Stinky.
Stinkyboard.
Yeah, what the hell? First of all, what's up with this name? Yeah, this is Stinky. This is a board that you can. It's a controller that you can use with your games. I'm thinking that this is probably going to be adopted for the next Arma game to cut down on all the keyboards.
You know what? It's not that bad of an idea. It's basically WASD, so you can sit there and just rock your foot in the motions that you want to go.
Right.
It's not that bad of an idea. However,
I would certainly have to be a person like having it hands-on if I could, in order to say like whether or not it's a good thing, because it looks stupid.
But here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. You've got a peripheral now that you can control your movements with one foot.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a joystick in your hand that you can do something with. You've got a peripheral on your face that embeds you in the game. What they're doing is they're making this more and more so that your gaming is going to be a bunch of modular items, because this particular peripheral combined with the Oculus, combined with a wireless keyboard or a joystick with buttons, you've got quite the ability for a complex game, or for complex game control.
Yeah.
I don't think this is that bad of an idea. I'm surprised no one's actually come up with this before. It beats the hell out of Divekick.
You're like, how could you sold on that and not this?
Well, think about it. What was the one thing that was holding back virtual reality games from becoming a reality? Was you had to stand there with this ring around you, and you had to basically be walking on a giant trackball so that you could move. Now all you do is you rock your foot forward, backwards, left, and right, and that's where you go. And if you've got another one for your other foot, that'll just be your actual turning, and your right foot would be your movements, so you can forward, backwards, strafe, left, and right. And your left foot could be your, there. Now you're aiming, and you just need a trigger to shoot stuff, and you're aiming down the sights all the way, no matter where you're looking through the Oculus. And I kind of think if this teams up with the right game, there's a winner.
I'm going to say you've got some great points. You got some absolutely great points. I still think it's just something I want to experience for myself before I can really say yes, this is a winner. Because it just seems so, for me, unrelatable that I really have to try it out.
The same way as Ham. This is definitely not disabled people friendly.
No, it's not.
All right, good. That's a point, I guess. Unless you sit on it, you can just rock your torso.
Roll your wheelchair back and forth on it.
Is it caliper friendly? I don't know.
It will be
we're all
sold.
going to hell.
Yes, we are. It will be sold in June for $120.
That's cheaper than. You know what? I'm gonna say something. It's better than Dance Dance Revolution and that stupid controller that they came out with, like that map that everybody jumping around like retards in their basements. Like, come on!
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
This at least I can see a use for. That Dance Dance Revolution, like for the consoles, all that's good for is smothering the fucking kid that's playing it. You take that plastic bag and wrap it right around their head. And
Completely agree.
see that, it's pretty good for catching like the inevitable blood that sprays out of somebody when they snap their ankles.
Inevitable.
Yeah. Oh, you should have gone. You should have seen it at
There will be
Eurogamer.
blood.
They had some sort of dance game at Eurogamer, and I basically spent 45 minutes watching fat people dance.
Couldn't
Well,
take
they
your
had
eyes
that
off.
back the first year we were there too. They had all these fat people dancing in front of the Microsoft, whatever the hell that little bar is. What's that thing called?
Connect.
Connect. All these fat people were up there getting jiggly with it.
And the worst part about it is it's one of those things that you don't want to see, but you can't look away at the same time. It's a
The beautiful horror of it all.
The whore.
Well,
there was a couple beautiful whores, but they were up there making the fat people jiggle.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Next.
Yes. Next up, we have the another thing that actually fits right along with this. It's called this is the Smell TV.
Link.
It's
Okay.
you got an old link?
Okay.
I don't know.
I had the wrong link copied,
Oh.
so I pasted the wrong link. So hang on. I'll give you the right link. There you go.
Well, now you can actually smell things through the TV because this little device will
Smell-o-vision.
make that. We've talked about stuff like this in the past.
To the TV?
Yeah. Well, this is now it's starting to happen.
Gonna be a hit with the porno industry.
oh god.
Not sure those are smells you want, but yeah, it could be.
The Food Network. Bacon
Yes.
pancakes all the
Oh,
time.
come on.
What are you eating? It smells fantastic. Oh, I'm just watching a repeat of the Food Network bacon pancakes. They're running
I
a
also
marathon right now.
I also noticed this article was posted on like March 30th.
Oh,
Any Fool's Day joke, anyone?
Well, that would have been the day before, so I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out.
I don't know.
Is Japan ahead or behind us?
Ahead of us.
Ahead of us. So
Yeah,
no. See, they would.
believe-
By, I
Japan
believe
doesn't
about
even April Fool's Day.
I don't know. I'm not even gonna. Well, whatever.
There's too many R's in it.
Fine. Then we'll skip over it and move on to the next thing. How about that?
Too many hours.
got that.
I did.
April Fool's!
Here we go. We have I'm assuming this is correct. There is going to be a new streaming service. Is that? Are we doing streaming service or this other one or the Alienware streaming service? I think.
You know what? It'd be fantastic if YouTube's actual streaming services would work.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're going to do this or how they have been doing it, because as far as I know, when you want to stream video on YouTube, you end up having to create a Hangout on Google Plus, and then people you know can go to your Hangout and watch you there, which sounds like the
Sounds
opposite
like
of YouTube
pedophilia.
streaming. Yeah. It doesn't sound right. But anyway, YouTube's plans to expand what they're calling in-game streaming, so that and basically this doesn't mean that you can now just start streaming your game. It means that developers of games can include a service that allows them to stream the game. So it's not the user's option, it is the developer's option to include it, and then the user's option to utilize it. But they were going to be including this on Android and iOS as well, which now you can stream your game of Rovio
Dr.
throwing
Nano.
the birds and Dr. Nano,
Yeah.
and you're right, that sounds
24
terrible.
hours a day snake.
Okay. Yeah, YouTube? I don't know. YouTube's got to get their act together a little bit better. This is Google. Google has some great ideas, and they often wait till other people utilize the ideas to make them better. But you know what? Open it up so that we can.
Yeah, don't you? If you want to be streaming on YouTube Live, or whatever it is, I think you have to have like a certain amount of followers. It has to be like you have to have a certain amount of pay. You can't just start streaming, which I think is.
I don't know.
I think if like there's some sort of threshold, like you have to be popular enough to sort of get your channel to have a sort of a channel to enable that live and be listed within the live what's going on. I believe that's the case. But like you said, I know you can start a Google Hangout and have it stream to YouTube. But it's all just sort of weird and complicated, not very understandable. least not without some invested time.
Well, I think this is also starting to come up as an option because of PlayStation's thing, where you're going to be able to stream portions of your game or your whole game. I don't know how that works. Doesn't matter. Okay. But then it comes...
You want your friends to watch you play a game when they could be playing the game with you.
Yeah,
well, they want to do both.
The weird thing about that as well.
Just so you can rub it in. You can't play this.
Yeah. Well, like, I can't stand watching people play games. I can, every now and again I can sit there, but it drives me crazy. Like, I just can't do it.
You could see the Call of Duty kiddies having 2 screens, streaming their friends so they know where he is so they can kill him.
Probably.
Sounds like watching his feed, like.
The PlayStation's going to have a thing where you can, like, allow somebody to connect to your game, but they're not playing. They're like sitting basically by your shoulder, going, "Hey, when you if you're stuck or whatever, you can get people to come in and help you." And it's just like, no, I don't want somebody sitting behind me going, "Everything you're doing is wrong."
No.
I
think
all the time. Is that enough?
During the conference,
I
it was
get that all the
advertised.
time anyway.
It was advertised as a feature, but I doubt many developers are going to implement it because it's just how annoying it might be. And the whole sort of option of being able to remotely control someone's game if they let you, I think a lot of developers are going to be like, no, because why would somebody else buy the game? You know,
It'll probably be you have to own the game as well or something.
Yeah.
This could be the intended. This could be intended though on purpose. Let me skip ahead to another one just real quick that says, Most Wanted for the Wii U is going to include co-op, where you are the driver and the other person is the navigator. We're talking about 2 people playing in the same car.
Oh, like Rally Sport.
Oh,
I love Rally Sport racing games.
Just like the idea of this PS4 streaming the games, and you have backseat gamers, you have backseat drivers. Yeah.
You should have said left there. I hate you.
There's some. I don't think you guys like Rally Sport racing games, but those games are awesome because it's like, I don't know, it's like extreme racing. And usually in those games you've got a driver who's also, or a navigator who's also in the car with you, and they're like, left turn up here, hard left, pin, hairpin right, things like that.
Why do they need to be in the car with you? Why aren't they just sitting next to you and looking at the mini-map? I mean,
because real life friends.
Because that's the thing, like in actual Rally Sport racing, there is someone next to you who holds the map because the courses are so crazy. Like you're racing up the side of mountains and through forested areas, and oftentimes there may not be a clear indication of the path. So you need to know maybe there are rocks ahead.
Well, yeah,
that's why it's so awesome to watch rally driving on TV, because there's inevitably carnage. People are like, I'm going to stand on this hairpin turn. No, you're not.
Yeah. Rally racing is so cool.
But they've had that in rally games before, but it's just an AI.
Right, it's just AI.
Control.
Okay.
Like, I think what Farrell's getting at is, what's the difference between like having that and just somebody physically sitting next to you in the room doing the exact same thing?
Yes, that's my point.
That's a great point. I don't have an answer to that. I don't.
You get to rage. You get to rage at them.
Well, yeah.
Mine
was, it's for the people that don't have actual friends.
And I can see the damn mini map. Will you shut up?
Yeah. And secondly, who the hell wants to play as a navigator in a video game? Isn't the whole point?
I would, just so I could tell them the wrong direction.
Maybe.
I had the map upside down. I meant right, not left.
Yeah. God. Maybe they can mark things like.
Create an account that's called Google Maps and then just tell people to drive off bridges.
Yeah. What you're going to want to do is swim for 3.5 days.
You can have
at one time that was one of the directions. If you asked for directions from Edmonton to London, it was like you had to drive all the way across the country and then get into the ocean and swim.
Yeah. It's like if you put walking or something, walking directions to London or to like Canada or something, it would say like, get to the edge of things, jump in Atlantic Ocean and swim for like 800 miles.
Yes.
Okay.
if the navigator can place icons like on the map that sort of appear in the real world or in the game world, like trees maybe, that'd be cool.
That seems like something that would have been implemented on the Wii U.
Yeah,
because that's very much what the Wii U controller was like.
Yeah, if I could sort of mark off like, hey, watch out for this, or put a tree somewhere as they're driving.
I guess, something that I have been forgetting. Something I have been forgetting about the Wii U is that this could work if they pull the minimap off the screen, or even just leave it as a very basic minimap, and the navigator uses the tablet. And they have a very detailed thing telling you where the cops are and so forth. So maybe it makes a little bit more sense, but then again, you are still doing the sitting there reading a map for your friend.
Yeah, it's just like... It's like, why isn't the whole point of playing that game is you get to be the race car driver? It's kind of like having like a hockey, an ice hockey game, and one of you plays on the ice, and the other guy just sits there on the bench watching from the sideline the whole time.
Now, I will tell you this: one thing when the Wii U was first announced, one sort of game that I imagined, which I don't see happening now, was that maybe you were piloting a spaceship. And you had like a crew, like maybe the person sitting next to you is part of your crew, and they're like taking care of systems on the spaceship that are being damaged as the person holding the controller is actually flying around, maybe maneuvering or doing whatever. I've been watching too much Star Trek lately, but but yeah, like
that's just a co-op game though. With just
it is a co-op game, but
concept.
But
it doesn't need an extra kind of person to stream into it and everything. You can just play that as co-op. That's just. It's a good idea.
Yeah, because you've got two different experiences. One person's actually flying, and one person's actually sort of doing whatever he needs to do to maintain your spaceship systems.
Yeah, like one of you's on the weapon system and is like designating targets and that. But it's no different to I'm going to bring up armor again. But it's no different to being like the pilot and the gunner in a plane in armor. It's exactly the same thing.
True.
But I like it because you can be like, you can have your navigator officer over here, and he's got different screens to you. You're the pilot, so you have the, you could plug your joystick in, and you're there flying.
And he's all, Commander, they're firing phasers.
and then you get sued by the Star Trek people.
Yes.
All right, we have something else.
Your phasers are set to stunned.
Something else coming out with the in the hardware world is that there's this thing coming from now. Is this real or is this fake? I don't even know now. I'm doubting it. Alienware plans on coming up with a UBUNTU Linux based box for playing games.
No way.
I don't know if it's real or not.
You can thank Dell for that. If this is real, you can thank Dell.
I don't know what else you're going to be able to do with this.
I could see it being real just because it is Dell.
What are you saving? What are you getting out of it, as opposed to it having some other interface?
Like,
I don't know.
I haven't seen anyone use Ubuntu in a long time.
Oh yeah, I don't even like it. They say, oh, it's so much easy, it's Linux, blah blah blah. It's easy to use. It's not easy to use. If you want full control, Ubuntu takes that control from you.
Yeah.
Like the last time I used it was when I had to do it was part of when I was in university. It was like a course thing, basically explain why Windows is better.
It is just like, for all the nice looks of it, Linux is just not there, and part of me feels bad because like I'm saying it has a fault because it's not Windows. Like, and maybe that is unfair, but the reality is, like, there are just some basic things that are simply not there. I can't point to a specific example right now. I don't want to waste the time to do that, but it's not there yet.
Linux is like the Special Olympics of operating systems. It's
kind of.
We're just hitting on disabled people today.
It rides the short bus. Linux rides the short bus. It's and one of the bigger issues with it is it tried to attach itself, and this is my take on it, it tried to attach itself to both PCs and Apples. And it did. And unfortunately, Mac came out with their own OS, and PC, it just walked all over it. So it's like, it's got its it's like a cult classic. It's got its own little following.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we would use Stickum. Not necessarily because we really wanted to, but Windows is like that. It's kind of this. We use Stickum because it's kind of the best of the worst.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it.
Sorry, Twitch. But that's what it is, and Linux is that, like Stryder said, that kind of obscure. It's like Kevin Smith movies. There's that very tight following of people, but yeah.
There's like a group of tens of 20s of people in the world that just love it, and
yeah.
All right, moving on.
We're still picking on special people. Because he is. We have news going on with Xbox 360, saying that it's going to have to always be on. But really,
still sucks.
Yeah, really, we already talked about this. We knew this. We knew that this Xbox 360 is going to require you to be always on, or in this case, only tolerate brief internet interruptions, because otherwise
the new Xbox, right?
The new Xbox, the successor, right? Yeah, otherwise, it's going to assume you're stealing or pirating or something, and just shut you down.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
It's so ridiculous.
So the lesson to be learned here is stop buying consoles.
Well, the worst thing about that as well is, what if you don't have the internet? Some people do buy consoles. Yeah, it's like people do. There are a few people out there that buy consoles that don't. They have the internet, they don't want it connected, to the internet, so they just play games on it.
It's because
Microsoft is saying people are wrong.
Console players are dying out. The consoles are dying out, so they're having to attach something else to it. So they're trying to attach social media to it, social networking to it, because the console games are not worth paying the money for. They're not worth developing for, and there's no longevity to them. So people are starting to realize there's no reason to do this. So now they have to start being very gimmicky. And we saw this start about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, where games stopped being good and they started being very gimmicky. And now they're to the point where there is no quality. It's 100% gimmick. And that's the death of the console.
Part of me feels like there's a conspiracy going on at Microsoft. Like there is a group of people who are trying to ruin the company from the inside. Windows Phone, Windows 8, Windows RT, an Xbox that's always on. It's like these are all things that right from the start somebody's going to tell you, look, these are horrible ideas. Why do you want to go forward with this? And
yeah, it's very much like as if nobody said that in the room. Like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Steve Jobs is sitting there at the bottom of the ocean in his glass coffin going, excellent.
I like this, the glass coffin, so you can see the fishes as they go by. I died.
I died. Exactly.
I don't know.
Is there anybody that we have not offended yet? Please raise your hand.
Just send us mailbag at MODSonair.
Don't worry, we'll get to you. We'll get There's a list. No. For any lawyers listening, there isn't a list. Actually, I shouldn't say that.
So
all right,
we've lost our hour. Our hour died.
Our hour is up, so we are at the end, and I
do have 3 things that I wanted to bring up that didn't make the list for whatever reason. Actually, 4 things. Neverwinter Nights that we saw at PAX. I've gotten some interesting emails. Looks like they're going to be proceeding with an open beta soon. Oh. So anybody that's into free WoW-esque games, RPG, MMORPGs, coming up. It's coming. There was, for a short while, a website up called steamcalculator.com. It has crashed. It calculated your Steam library's value based on today's market value of your games.
Yeah.
It crashed from overusage because people thought, hey, this is quite interesting because I'm going to find out what my games are actually worth, not according to what I've spent on Steam, but what they'd be worth if I had to replace them all today.
Well, but that's the
War
same
Z,
prices on Steam though, right?
yeah, War Z was hacked, and hacked
I
pretty
saw
hard.
that.
All player passwords, email addresses, IP addresses,
That kind
forum
of
logins, all that, anything except financial information was compromised. So if you do or did have a War Z account, you're advised to change your passwords, especially if you utilize the same password at multiple login sites. And that's my PSA. That was my PSA voice. You all like that? And up here, they've announced in Edmonton a zombie race, which I was quite interested in it. And what it is, it's a 5K run. You get a belt with you get a belt with 3 flags on it, and those are your 3 lives. And you run until you run out of lives.
And then other people can volunteer to be zombies to chase you, right?
Yep.
When they say run out of lives, you mean flags or actual you just drop dead?
Yeah, if they take all 3 of your flags, then they get to mob you. Like if you're running away with no flags, you get mobbed and beaten to death. So
It is Canada, so that's allowed.
it's bringing natural selection back. No, that's not the case, and it goes for a good cause. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Sponsored by Nos and Bums. Exactly.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
bunch of hopped up bums chasing you through up the hills of San Francisco.
Definitely didn't want to run from that. They're scary. All right. So that's that. And so,
what do you call an epileptic in your vegetable garden?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
A seizure cell.
So next week we will have a show, but the week after that it will probably be canceled. I think.
Why?
Why? Because
You might.
I'll be getting home super late.
Yep.
Yep. From going to see Stryder.
Yes.
So book your tickets now. You can join us. I was looking at the temperature. It's going to be cold up there, man. It's going to be warm here.
We just we're coming out of the tail end of a blizzard right now.
Yeah, I noticed. It's been snowing
Pissed
every
me
day.
off. We were like plus 13 or something like that. It was all the snow was melting and it was runoff everywhere. It's like and then winter's
plus,
like, I'm not done. Here, have this.
It's plus 13 Fahrenheit now instead of C. Yeah.
Plus 13 Celsius.
Okay.
Crap.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so you know what's going on as far as the shows go. If you have anything you want us to talk about, you're welcome to send us something over at mailbag@modsonair.com because we love hearing from you, and we prefer it to be from a valid email address so that we can actually tell you that yes, we do have a donate button on the right side of the page. All you have to do is scroll down an inch.
I know you're.
But that's okay.
I know what you're referring to. That's clearly just spam.
Yes.
You know that, right?
Yes, but we still love our viewers. I know it is. Anyway, so that's our show. You know where to find us and where to come back. I want to thank our host for taking the time out to chat today. Thank you very much for waking up early and joining us, all of you. Welshy, thank you very much.
Yay!
Yay.
No problem.
All right, Ham, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And Breesy, I know it's not morning, but still thank you for joining us today.
No problem. I was actually not working today. Woohoo!
Awesome. Yes, it is appreciated. And Stryder, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's always an adventure.
It's something.
And it's about damn time. I was up the last 2 Sundays. I was up, and I'm like, this is
boring.
This makes Sundays long. Yeah,
it does, right?
It's just a long amount of time before I can start drinking.
Exactly, because I'm not supposed to drink before noon. It's like one of my own little.
Yeah.
Then you start making rules like, well, it's noon somewhere.
Yeah.
It's noon somewhere.
It's 11:30. That's close enough.
It's close. It's almost.
It's 11. 11's easy. I take 11.
I can pour it at 11:30. I just won't drink it until noon. You can sit right there.
No, I can't. Just a sip. All right.
Actually, I get you to bring some stuff up from duty free.
Yeah,
bring me up a bottle of Ray and Nephew Overproof.
Okay, don't know what that is, but I guess I'm going to find out.
Rum. 60% alcohol rum.
There's somebody there's a TSA right at this very moment that's just going, I'm just gonna go get my gloves.
No, I don't want it if you're gonna bring it up. No, I don't want no illegal rum, not like that.
Okay. All right. So in that case, I'm going to finally say final closer here and say finally I thank the fans of MODSonair.com and the subscribing members of MODSonline.com and those of you who donate for making the show possible. And until next weekend, everybody, have fun. Bye. Thanks for watching this week, and come back next week when we will broadcast another live show. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@modsonair.com. And please consider subscribing to modsonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners. Alright, so I was trying to figure out what was going on with my cable when I got back, and then I found this leaked version of a video of their commercial, and it all made sense.
Leaked?
Hi. We're your local high-speed internet and cable provider. Are you looking for a fast, reliable internet connection? A large selection of your favorite HD TV channels? With 24/7 access to the best customer support technicians? All at a fair price? Fuck you. You'll take what we give you. You'll have the option of choosing from several of our completely unwarranted rip-offs, including internet speeds up to 200 times slower than Korea at twice the price, TV packages with over 500 channels, 90% of which you can't view, and we guarantee a plethora of hidden fees. Then, our barely trained technicians will come to install your services somewhere between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Knock once while you're in the shower, and promptly leave. And once we do finally get your service up and running, it'll be down and limping within 3 hours. Indefinitely. Why, you ask? Simple. We are part of what is called an oligopoly. It's like a monopoly, only legal. See, in closed-door meetings with 4 or 5 of the other major providers, we've secretly agreed not to have differing prices, allowing us to completely eliminate any competition and collectively raise our prices to optimum cockbag levels. Because we here at your local high-speed internet and cable provider don't believe in customer satisfaction. We believe in money. Pools of money. Looking for a better deal? You can oligobble down our balls. You're paying for it. Your local high-speed internet and cable provider. You won't like it, and there's no other option.